This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jacob Payne, and 8 stories in the queue for this New Year's Eve day, as it's day part now, to get you into your headlines. Start with headlines that you vetted as conversational. You have given us covering information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. Now, as we say here often, these are stories that you tell us you want to talk about, because the Conversation Project is not just a monologue for a news update. It's an actual conversation with you guys, featuring stories on Payne, Linda Lavin, and OnlyFans. And that probably means we'll probably get demonetized. So we need you to check out our sponsor today, which is Robinhood, to make sure that you get into your start for the day. News that definitely wasn't covered yesterday, as it became more or less of a slow news day as it rolls into the new year, but also a celebration, if you will. A lot of talk about Jimmy Carter and his legacy. So as he overtook a lot of the news yesterday, less stories were covered. We had to do a lot of digging and a lot of stuff, and you guys let us know what stories are interesting, including the OnlyFans. That's why it's there. When I put it in there, you guys click. It always happens. Reminding you that our website is thisisaconversationproject.com. Find out more about the background, the history, and all about the Conversation Project. And of course, email me with comments, concerns, and all the complaints you want at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. I've already said it one more time with feeling. December 31st, 2024, New Year's Eve for the beginning of 2025, end of 2024, happening in, about 18 hours from when I'm recording this right now. So get ready for that. But right now, get ready for this 8 news stories for this Tuesday that you deemed as conversational from the Monday. Starting off right off the bat with Payne, and 5 people have been charged in connection with Payne's death. The former member of One Direction tragically passed away, of course, on October 16th this year, falling from a 3rd-floor balcony at the Cesar Sur Hotel in Buenos Aires. The connection between his death and the 5 individuals include hotel employees who supplied him with drugs, also individuals who were charged with manslaughter. We have an investigation in revealing that Payne had alcohol, cocaine, and prescription antidepressants in his system at the time of his death. Judge Laura Borinia criticized the actions of those responsible for his death and his care in general, stating that Payne should have been under safe care supervision until a doctor arrived, not just left alone to lock himself into his hotel room and, of course, fall from the balcony. If you go to the link inside of the description, have the names and more details on each person that's been charged. But this is now coming to a resolution, coming to a head with what's happening. We have people who now see some sort of trial and maybe some justice for what's going on. Of course, it's not bringing Payne back. So the family, the friends, and of course the fans who loved his work at this time are still going to miss him going forward. But we'll see if something happens to the people who will say led up to this situation and did nothing to really intervene and help in the situation. 6 former Florida State players are suing their former coach, Leonard Hamilton, over NIL compensation. We're going to talk a whole lot more about NIL going forward to figure out if the future of NCAA actually exists because of the money involved. But 6 players from FSU have formally filed a lawsuit against their former head coach, Leonard Hamilton, because he failed to deliver on promises of $250,000 for each for name, image, and likeness. Darren Green Jr., DeAndre Green, Cameron Fletcher, Josh Nickelberry, and Primo Spears, and Jalen Worley, the 6 players, are in this claim, assuring them that Hamilton assured them they'd get $25,000 from his business partners based on NIL. They didn't get paid. They filed a lawsuit in Leon County Circuit Court, including text messages from the players, Hamilton, and the Florida State NIL collective executive, highlighting the players' reliance on the promised funds for essential expenses, rent and car payments. What kind of college kid needs $25,000 for rent and car payments? Guys that think they're getting $25,000, $250,000. Sorry, $250, not $25, $250,000. When you think you're getting that money, and of course you think other schools would pay you that kind of money, and you don't get it, things get ugly. And things are really ugly for Hamilton right now, who reportedly reiterated their promises over and over again to persuade them to play, and they did not get paid. Florida State University has expressed support for Hamilton's right to defend himself, stating that the inquiry found no known unfamiliar commitments, i.e. he's not in the wrong just because money was promised and it didn't get there. The lawsuit actually underscores the complexities and challenges of NIL agreements in collegiate activities, highlighting the need for clear guidelines and transparency to protect the interests of the student athletes and institutions alike. Sidebar on this one. During one of our chapel services in the past year, last quarter, I guess technically 2 quarters back in the spring, we had someone came in who was a former athlete, local guy here, who didn't quite make it as far as he wanted to, but worked in the background to make sure other athletes got what they needed to as they made the transition from the college game to the pro game. And one thing he's working on right now is a collective here in Arkansas that makes sure that NIL money is actually good money. It's not promised money that disappears like vaporware. When money goes into the pot, money goes to the institutions to be able to use for NIL for folks, and it goes to the players in the right manners, and they don't get overpaid, so it doesn't turn into a big nuclear weapons proliferation of who has more money, to make it more fair for people who don't have the rights or the skills to, like an Arch Manning, to get $1 million on his own because he's Arch Manning going forward. This NIL thing ain't going away because it's there. That horse is well out of the barn. But will it fix things, or can they fix it, if you will? Or more importantly, will the thought process of a student athlete, the non-professional student playing for a school and playing for the love of the game, officially go away? If you're watching college football this week, and tonight specifically, you have a good idea that it's probably going away. Now, an interesting take on this one is the fact that we have two boy band folks from about a couple decades ago who are in the news. One of them, Liam Payne, of course, passed away tragically this year. The other one is getting a tragic sort of coming out in the United States, even though he's been around. The British folks, are defending Robbie Williams after Americans claim to not know who he is with the release of his new biopic. The biopic is called Better Man, and it stars British pop star Robbie Williams. And it's interesting because he has perceived himself as a performing monkey. So it's through the eyes of a CGI chimpanzee. It's his life, it's his songs, it's his voice, but it's a monkey. And people are freaking out about it. And the weird thing about stuff here is, here in the States, he's less known than in Europe and UK because he was in the band Take That, not the other band, not One Direction, not quite as big as One Direction. So this guy, he had a couple of hits here going forward. But American audiences apparently don't know who he is. They can't remember him because his hits weren't as big as One Direction, essentially. And so Americans are like, why are we getting this movie about a monkey singing and what's going on with this? Not realizing it's actually a true story, but portrayed by a monkey. Sidebar, Williams thought himself maybe he should do a lion, but they went back to the whole monkey thing, said, yeah, that'll work. It's actually received a positive reception with a strong rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and from critics. The problem is, us here in the States don't quite get who Robbie Williams is. So that's where things are going forward. He went on to have a fairly good solo career. Like I said, he's bigger in Europe, overseas, the other overseas than us. But we're going to see what happens if you see it. Not quite one of the more anticipated movies of the year, but it's a movie. There are things to do. There are better things to watch. So go watch Better Man and see if the monkey can play a better man. We talked about 2 stories ago, NIL, and how money in college ranks are changing the sports ranks and changing the athlete part of the student athlete part. This is not money per se, but it's also a way of how how economics and how education is changing these days, where we have essentially the fallout of how all education worked after COVID-19 happened, and we had people doing remote working in school from home and realizing that things really weren't working and doing that way didn't work. Now they're trying to fix it. They're trying to get people back on track, and people are getting really freaked out about it. Here's something going on in Oklahoma. Their new law requires students to enroll in college or trade school or the military to actually graduate from high school. So 25 units of graduate courses, which is kind of typical for high school students to graduate, get the coursework out. They also require 2 curriculum paths, the college preparatory work ready curriculum and the core curriculum. College prep and work ready means you take prep courses towards going towards college or a work ready sort of degree, something that needs a bit of background. It's got a lot of background in math, a lot of background in science, a lot of background in history, so that when you prepare yourself, you're prepared to go to college and get started off on a great start. This will help alleviate less people going to college doing remedial stuff because they should be already to go, and assume that's where they're going. Otherwise, you got to have a job lined up. You got to be prepared to enlist in the military, which is a job out of high school, or go to a trade school ready to go to get your diploma. You don't get your diploma? Well, that's a whole nother story. But if you're working towards actually getting a diploma, by the time you reach your walking across the stage part, you should have a college plan, a prep college plan ready to go to, whether you can pay for it or not is a whole other thing, or a job coming for you in the military or some sort of trade school to get you something that's going to be on the up and up, not just doing side jobs so you figure it out. This seems like a great thing to do, but it also comes to fruition where it's like, are you being forced to do this? The options of going to the military, going to college, or direct entry into the workforce in some sort of trade is a great idea, except when it isn't, and when it's forced and it seems like it's a bit excessive. No one's backing off this law right yet, and yet no one's suing on this one, but we'll see how well the Oklahomans can keep up with this one and whether this is something that's going to catch on in other states fairly soon. Thank you for being with us on this New Year's Eve edition of the Conversation Projects, things you might not have heard. We want you to enjoy yourself, and hopefully you're enjoying the video you're watching and the content we give you every single day. If you do, we need your help to get more people in the queue, more people watching us, more people to grow the channels so we can do more stuff and have more people in conversations. So simple. This is the like, share, subscribe part. Like the video you're watching right now if you enjoy the news you're getting, or like any video you see us put out onto our platform, or like the audios if you're listening to us on the audio feedback, because we need people to engage in it. So to do that, algorithms need to see that we're pretty good. So if you put a like on it, you put whatever sort of thing the platform lets you do to show that you appreciate it, the platform should serve it up to other people on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, likes or what happens, or hearts, or whatever you do like that way. And if you enjoy it yourself, share it directly to people you know who enjoy this sort of content, this news, this commentary, this pretty face. Okay, maybe not the pretty face, but share it with people who are like-minded, who enjoy getting news commentary and getting deeper news, and sometimes offbeat news when everything is all about something. Now, yesterday, it's literally been all about Jimmy Carter with little bits and pieces of airplane crashes, intermittent, and some Trump H-1B visa stuff. We didn't cover that stuff today. Well, we're going to cover the airplane in a moment. But we gave you some other things that are easily conversational because you told us they were conversational. We'll get to that in a moment. If you're missing us in your feed naturally, then subscribe so that you also get us whenever we produce something, whether it's a live thing like this one, live to tape, or you get something in our news clips or our little drops here or there. Like, share, and subscribe to get more people enjoying what we're doing out here, more social proof out there, and more togetherness, conversationalists with us right here. We could not get by without this very unique take on the Azerbaijan plane crash that happened on Christmas Day, because the nation of Azerbaijan and the leaders in Azerbaijan are looking for Putin and Russia to admit some responsibility, basically apologize because they think they shot down the plane. Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 aircraft crashed in Kazakhstan on December 25th. Christmas Day, resulting in 38 fatalities among the 67 on board. The real miracle in this was the fact that so many people actually survived the crash like this. Initially called a bird strike and then turned to some sort of external pressures, if you will. They believe, that they being people with eyeballs and people who can think, that some Russian battery essentially fired some sort of defense air at them, thinking it was a drone, or it got misidentified as a asset that was not Russia and maybe Ukrainian. And so it got hit by something, systems went down, and the plane went down. The president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, is saying that the crash is Russians' fault and they should actually own up to what's going on, acknowledging their responsibility and some compensation for what happened. In response, Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed condolences and referred to the incident as a tragic error, but did not say that he did anything. Tragic error for someone, but not necessarily me. Yeah, maybe it was the birds' faults. Maybe it was the pilot was drunk. Somebody did something. It's really tragic. But I'm not taking responsibility. The investigation is going on. Flight recorders are being sent to Brazil for analysis. Authorities in Kazakhstan, Russia, and Azerbaijan are collaborating. to whatever, and that is to determine what the exact cause of the crash is. There is tension between Azerbaijan and Russia. There pretty much always is, and this which ramps it up. Russia's not playing nice with anybody these days, and this is probably not the time to be mouthing off. Although, if you're Vladimir Putin, any time's a great time for mouthing off. Yesterday, we listed a long list of people who passed literally over the weekend. 5 people, 5 names, including Jimmy Carter. We gave a long part of time to Jimmy Carter's passing yesterday. Another passing happening here is Linda Lavin, the Tony Award-winning actress and, of course, star of Alice, who died at the age of 87. She passed away 2 days ago on the 29th at 87. She has complications of recently diagnosed lung cancer. Born in 1937, her career began in Broadway in 1960. Very versatile in music, in musicals and plays. Won her earned her first Tony nomination in 1970 for The Last of the Red Hot Lovers. Of course, we know her playing Alice from the TV show Alice, based on Alice doesn't live anymore. I think I said that right. It ran from 1976 to 1985. It was a long time show. As children of the 70s going to 80s, you remember Alice and Flo and all the fun stuff, and Mel and Eat and Kiss My Grits and all that great stuff. Those great memories are great to have. She, of course, was a widowed mother and was a waitress who was trying to get a singing career and was stuck in this diner in the middle of nowhere with those crazy cats. Of course, Broadway all over the place, TV all over the place, and recently she's been in the show No Good Deed. But what really is interesting about that is she actually, there's a season being taped right now, and she was basically 3 episodes away from finishing her taping. So what they're going to do for the end of the show is going to be very interesting. She's survived by her husband, Steve Baucus. We are definitely sending all the thoughts, prayers, love we can to the family, the friends, and the fans of Linda Lavin, who passed away this past week, 2024. Definitely going out with a bang, as we also have a headline in the queue. We're not going to tease that. Well, we'll tease it. Aaron Brown, the CNN anchor, also passing away as well. The last couple of days of 2024, definitely showing how 2024 was to many of us. Here's another, like I said, slowish news day. This is what you engaged in, so this is where we're here. And it also explains the next story, because I need it clicks. Headline for story number 7. Texas cheerleader faces animal cruelty charges for allegedly poisoning classmate's goat. Aubrey Van Landingham, 17-year-old high school student from Cedar Park, Texas, charged with felony cruelty to livestock animals after allegedly poisoning a classmate's show goat named Willie. The incident occurred in October of 2024 at Vista Ridge High School's Future Farmers of America agriculture facility. Security footage reportedly shows Van Landingham using a drench gun to force feed Willie a toxic pesticide. She allegedly confessed to the act, citing her belief that the goat's owner was a cheater. A necropsy confirmed that Willie died from organophosphate intoxication due to phosmet, a pesticide commonly used for external parasite control in livestock. Investigators also found internet searches on Van Landingham's phone related to animal poisoning methods. She was arrested in November, released on $5,000 bond, and scheduled for appearing in court on January 15th, 2025. Happy New Year to you, Van Landingham. Van Landingham. Van Landingham. And finally, and what's probably going to get us demonetized, so please check out our sponsor, Robinhood, today. Use our link. This is conversationproject.com/Robinhood, so you can get your free stock. The mother of 2, who runs the OnlyFans platform, defends it as a feminist platform amid all the controversy with Lily Phillips and more. Kelly Blair is the CEO of OnlyFans. She's been in that job since 2023 and exemplifies a blend of professional success and advocacy for women. She's a lawyer by background who has worked in cybersecurity and privacy, and actually moved from her law firm to forming on OnlyFans because feminism. And from there, with her background, and somehow I guess they saw her talent. Well, that was said for sure. She basically rolls through the ranks in the actual working parts and no longer has to work for OnlyFans for the tips. She works for OnlyFans, being in charge. She highlights the importance of safe and inclusive spaces for creators, allowing them to monetize their content in diverse ways. Adult entertainment, of course, one of them, and maintains autonomy over their lives and careers. But she's had some issues lately. The biggest issue, one Lily Phillips, sparking outrage after engaging in a highly publicized stunt to have sex with over 100 men in one night, which apparently happened. If you go to YouTube and watch the documentary on it and see a whole lot of mess, a whole lot of stress, and a whole lot of sort of second thoughts in the process, for her only to say her next stunt will be 1,000 men in a night. I don't even know how that's possible, but she's going to do that. So it's there. Meanwhile, OnlyFans is a feminist website for women who want to express themselves and make a little money on the side. Oh, another problem she has, there's this lady called Bonnie Blue who is traveling around like Australia, or she's from the UK, but she's traveling around British or English-speaking nations like Australia and New Zealand to have sex with as many barely legal teens as possible. Basically, if you're 18 years old, you can have sex with her for the exchange of being an OnlyFans, which has gotten her kicked out of New Zealand and Australia. Not for the same reasons as one Candace Owens. This one's really even sicker. So there, as much as I complain about Candace, this is a problem. But her big thing is having sex with people who are barely 18 because she can and getting paid for it. Meanwhile, I am part of the problem because I put the notion out there to respond to it. You all responded to it. And we're talking about people who are not just showing the free love they have of expression, but literally having torrid sex for only reasons that are just essentially their own ego and maybe something maybe kind of off in them. Maybe. That's all conjecture, if you will. Meanwhile, it's a site for feminists, for them to express themselves and make their content and maybe get a little bit of money from it. This from Kelly Blair, who, of course, was a lawyer, was a content creator, and now is the CEO of OnlyFans. As I said, demonetization is coming, so I need you guys to actually watch this video to as much as possible and share as many folks as they can so I can get some juice out of it. While you're at it, prep for the next upcoming show for New Year's Day, because we're going to probably do this New Year's Day. I'm going to bed early because I'm old. And we're going to talk more, if you will, about Justin Baldoni. Baldoni, his lawyer, says that the truth will come out about the Blake Lively legal complaint because he and Baldini and his lawyers are filing a countersuit that will basically show those who believe themselves untouchable, that's a quote, will find themselves touched. The truth will come out from this one. Although the headline I have picture here from the picture from People magazine says exclusive in the headline, there are about 5 different websites that had exclusive in the headline and a very similar one. So I'm not sure how exclusive this headline is, but it's going to be a big deal. The Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively show has been a really big deal going forward. I think the movie actually did fairly well. I didn't see it, so can't tell you what it's about per se, but the movie they did together that he directed and he starred in with Lively did fairly well. I'm sure it's picking up some pace now that people are seeing the stories, and everyone is going to the defense of Blake Lively and to the fact that many people are shunning Justin Baldoni and his people. He does have some support, but Baldoni's lawyer said that this new lawsuit will basically expose all those out there. Do you want to go deeper in this story? It's simple. When it pops up in your feed, you just engage in it, so I know it's engaging. That's how the conversational stuff starts. That's how you tell me that it is conversational. Now, what are the feeds? On Facebook and X, we have our links on our pages. For X, it's x.com/th_conversation. For Facebook, facebook.com/this is the conversation project. All you need to do is follow those feeds. Follow us on Facebook and X. When you follow us on every place else with videos, you can see those, and every 50 minutes or so, we post a news article from various sources. Some of them are grander than others. Some of them are weirder than others. And some of the stories are a little bit disturbing. The Lily Phillips stuff, very disturbing. But what's engaging, what's conversational based on the large scope of what's going on, not just what the mainstream media says you should be talking about, or that uncle guy on TikTok who really has a thing for that thing. You know what I'm talking about. This is your chance to get engaged with the world, literally, as you, the people who are in our feeds, people who are conversating and following us, and the internet at large when things go big can tell us what stories are conversation, what stories are worthy of talking about. The OnlyFans story got about the conversational, the engagement level, literally about 30 times the next level story. So we had to put it in there, and it was a slowish news day. So we need it for the clicks. If you want to get Justin Baldoni in there, which also brings up a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of people engaged in that one, take some time. Yes, it's a slow news day. Yes, New Year's Eve is going to be dotted with things that are not stuff. And basically, CNN's essentially given up and is going to show just New Year's celebrations all day long. So, yeah, they're giving up. They're taking the break on that one. And you guys as well, as numbers are down. But if you do check your Facebook and your X just for random stuff, or if Trump says something odd, look for this story, look for other stories, engage in the stories, like them, love them, hate them, share them. Just show what you want that the story is worthy of talking about. And tomorrow we'll take 8 of the top 15 stories and give them to you in some sort of digestive news. There will be 8 stories at the top. We suspect the numbers of engagements to be lower, but 8 stories will overcome in the 15 stories that will be bigger than the other ones, and we'll get them to you. We aren't talking about the story we teased yesterday because I didn't think it was going to make it there anyway. Churches fighting to stay open as attendance dwindles. I suggest you go search that anyway if you're a churchgoer or just curious about how churches are surviving or not surviving these days, because it's the article is an interesting read. The thought process is interesting for all institutions that are trying to survive in this day and age. But we want to talk Justin Baldoni. Well, I'm sure you do, because you're gonna prove it by engaging the story, making this one a top story to pull it in. Today's sponsor is Robinhood. We ask you to check them out and get your free stock by going to thisistheconversationproject.com/Robinhood and get yourself started today. Now, it's a new era for Robinhood as they've essentially grown up in their coverage. Now, yes, you can go do the meme stocks and do all the stuff like that, but if you're actually ready to control your financial future, Robinhood makes investing much, much easier and better than ever for accessibility and empowering you to get the real knowledge going forward. You can be a seasoned investor just getting started, but new tools from Robinhood actually put you on the right path and puts them right there in the palm of your hand to get things done. Buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and even cryptocurrencies, of course, and they're all commission free. No hidden fees, no account minimums to hold you back. Robinhood's sleek, user-friendly app and the interface online help you build a portfolio that will track your progress in real time and learn more about the markets. Easy to understand educational resources as well, and you can start your portfolio literally with just $1. Fractional stocks are awesome. And Robinhood Cash is their new management tool that lets you earn more interest on uninvested cash and keep it ready to invest when you're ready to. And Robinhood Gold, the new big premium research tools that allows you to invest to the next level. You can be just like the Schwab guy on TV and do what you need to do and not bypass him. Download the Robinhood app today and start investing on your own terms. And this is what is democratizing investing for everyone. It's still out there. It's still big. And remember, all investments have a chance of loss. You could lose money in these investments, but you also have control of your own investments, your own time, your own research. You can literally put in what you need to do and learn from others and learn from Robinhood's tool itself. Check us out at our link. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. You can start for just $1. And of course, you get a free stock, one share of free stock just for using our link and joining in. So 2024 coming to a close right now. If investing and getting your money right is something that's in your future, it doesn't take very much to get started. Get started today. Literally today. The market is open today, so go ahead and get that stock in today with Robinhood. The Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com. I thank you so much for being a part of the show for the entire year 2024. This was a last minute thought, but we're going to give some time, just go long, to shout out our partners today because we need to. We'll chime them again as normal on Friday. But as we wrap up the year, we thank you so much for new partners for this year. It was Eldon Kidd and Joy Winters. We had Harold Braxton and Colby Green for a couple of years now. But Eldon Kidd, a guy I've literally known for a while, that's his pseudonym, going back and forth for quite some time, who found me this year, decided to give you a little bucks towards the effort because we love each other. And I do the same for him for some of his endeavors. And Joy Winters, who was on the spare change level, just $1 a month. Braxton, Green, and Kid on a $5 a month plan. And there's also the pot of coffee plan if you want to go a little bit bigger and help us go forward for 2025. 2025 should be a big year for all of us, you guys, me guys, everybody involved, and we need your help and assistance. So if you want to assist us directly, you can go to the link in this presentation, or go to our website. This is theconversationproject.com/partnerships. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just click the join button to join memberships there. Here's a bit of a hint. The join levels are actually cheaper than the partnership levels. So you want to save about $1 or $2 per level. Check out that as well if you're on YouTube, and you get all the same things, including instant, fast access to various articles and videos, things going forward, and insight what's happening. That's what heck with there. You can also stop by our sponsors. Our sponsors are ones, like we said, for Robinhood. We have a page of sponsors at our website that allow you to get something for yourself and take care of yourself in the process. And it takes care of us, as they are pretty much all affiliate sponsors. Everything is based on buying something. So if you buy something from them, it costs you nothing extra, but we get a small deposit from us from bringing it into the storeway. Of course, the website has all of our past episodes, so you can see what we've done in the past. The true past, even going back a couple of iterations of how we've evolved. You want to go that far back. Read about how we began our start and find out what we're doing in the future. And of course, find us in all the places we can be found. TikTok, YouTube, X, all the links to all the places. Our email newsletter, they're there at the website. This is theconversationproject.com. So, and if you miss out on something, go back to the website. We'll do our best to make sure we catch up to it as well, with ups and ups and ups. With that, happy New Year's Eve. Tomorrow morning, we'll wish you a happy new year with 8 stories. We will find 8 stories to get to you. It will happen somehow, some way. 8 stories that you will deem conversational over the day, because you cannot back away from us. You're going to check your X anyway, because Elon's going to say something silly. You've got to be there. And when you do, we'll be there with new stories for you to engage in. Engage in as many as you think are good enough to get into. And the ones that get the higher engagement, about the top half of those stories, we'll choose from to give you 8 stories in the queue for tomorrow's podcast. So what will we give you for tomorrow? How will we start our new year news-wise? We shall see tomorrow morning. Buzz, buzz. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2025.